Hi everyone, my name is Carla and I am the Stitcher Witch in Scotland, and Happy New Year! Yes, today is the 1st of January and I really don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. Come back and ask me in 6 months' time. So I'm here for my end of December update, and also probably to let you know of some of the plans that I potentially have for the rest of this year. It feels really weird now saying this year when you're not thinking about 2025, because this year has only just started. So it's like a fresh new slate of possibility, isn't it? But anyway, I hope everybody had a lovely Christmas and overindulged like we all do. Not looking forward to my January checkup at the clinic, just to see what my cholesterol is like, to see if I've been a good girl or a bad girl. And well, I'm usually always a good girl, but there has been a few indulgences, an extra slice of cake, that kind of thing. But hopefully I'm back on track this year now that it's all over and I can get rid of all the temptations. So in December I did a whip parade and I was showing you everything that I had, well basically everything that was what I would call my current whips. Some of them active, some of them not active, as in I haven't touched them for ages and ages. And it's kind of really hard to figure out how to include everything if you've got more than, say, 15 whips, more than 10. If you've got 10 plus even, it's hard to say, how can I fit all that in without rotating every couple of hundred stitches? And do I really want to get progress, or do I really want to get a finish? And which ones would I rather work on? And, you know, all those questions come to mind. So I've been watching a few of the Floss Tube whip parades, and some people have been saying that they want to really focus on working on less whips this year and trying to get a finish on some of them, or one of them even, so that they can substitute it for something else. And I thought, you know, I was thinking about that too in December, that makes a lot of sense to me, because a lot of the time I'm swapping out things so frequently that I feel like I'm just really juggling balls for a very short period of time and not seeing good enough progress on something, you know, even maybe a finish. So what I did was I wrote down everything that I have again, because I tend to forget. And the ones that, you know, I've got the biggest amount of stitches in, I know I'm not going to get a finish on anytime soon, but I don't really want to leave them to linger. So they have to come in somewhere at some point. But then looking at the ones which I think I could, if not finish, I could potentially get very close to a finish by the end of next year. Why don't I just focus on that? Put some aside and just, you know, cut it down a little bit and not worry about it. So when I start showing you my whips now, I'm going to show you in the order of what's going to take priority, and as far as how many stitches a week I'm going to do and stuff like that. I'm not very good at predicting that, because I find things are too erratic for me. If I say I have to do 500 stitches this week, I end up feeling tethered to my Lowry stand, and I feel like, oh, do you know what, I don't really want to do 500. And it starts to get a little bit like having to, you know, clean the house, or having to empty the dishwasher, or having to do one of those chores which you just think, oh, I'd rather leave some of it a bit spontaneous as well. So there has to be a bit of a balance. That's where I find it quite difficult, actually, because you can't have plans and goals and not have, you know, and have the spontaneity, because then you're just going to do whatever you want. And we know there's room for that in our stitching world, but yeah, I think the whole fault of everything is having too many, because if we all had just 2 or 3, wouldn't have a problem. But yeah, we're all the problem of starting new ones. Talking about starting new ones, I have bought a couple of new charts, I'm afraid to say. Actually, not too afraid to say, because I've just told you. But anyway, let's see if I can remember everything that I wanted to tell you, because I'm not very good at remembering it all. And I'm going to start with what I actually got done since my last whip parade. I'm just going to pull my chair over a little bit here. So first of all, my focus piece in the last month has been Sad Fairy. So she is the first one I'm going to show you, but she is the one that I have been trying to put in the most progress. And oh God, yes, I nearly forgot to tell you, she is now at 70%. In my last video, I was saying that I wanted to come back and tell you when I'd got to 70%. It took me approximately a month to get from 65% to 70%. And that's because I was averaging about 800 stitches a day. So she is one of my oldest and biggest pieces. She was a regular and obviously a heaven and earth design. Her total stitch count is 189,000. And I don't remember exactly how many stitches I've done. I think it's something like 132,000. So there's still around 55,000 to go on her. But I have been working along here, along the cuff of her sleeve, and all around here. I don't really want to take her off the Q-snap again because I had to wrangle her in it last night to get a few more stitches in. I'll come over to this side because I want to kind of bridge this gap a little bit and get a few more in here, just to get this swing coming down. And I think I can do that if I focus, although I'm not sure. So I'm sort of doing a kind of limited cross country with a little bit of parking at the moment. I'm not sure whether to go across here and down or just to keep going down like in a couple of columns. Not 100% sure about that, but I'll just see how I feel when I start stitching, because there's no point predicting, because then I just go and completely do something opposite. But yeah, I love how I love the colors and this one. It really makes these dark blues and grays and silver colors really make this pink, this bright red pink. It's not red, it's pink. It makes it really pop. So yeah, she's looking great. And I think if I do keep her as a focus piece next year, she's got about 50,000 stitches left. It is doable, but I'm not going to kind of aim for a finish this. I said next year, and I mean this year, I think. I think this is going to happen a lot until we get rolling into the new year. So this year, I'm going to try and just get as many as I can in. So she's going to be like the #1 focus priority. I can hear somebody saying, what about Riverwalk Charm? Well, yeah, you know, Riverwalk Charm was a focus piece for most of last year. I got a little bit burnt out on it, so I've put it aside a little bit for now. I haven't worked on it in December. But the alternative to that is that I got some work done on other things in December, and I managed to get more on this. So there's pros and cons to everything, really. So that's the plan for this one, is to do as much as I can. I'm not going to put a stitch count on it. I'm not going to put a goal. I don't work well with stitch counts and goals particularly, because then I feel like I have to work, my life has to revolve around the stitching, and I don't think that's a really healthy way for me to go. I start to get a little bit depressed about that, because it's still a hobby at the end of the day for me. I feel a bit croaky now. I hope I'm not coming down with one of these super flus that everybody's getting. Okay, so that's Sad Fairy. I did do a project board kind of thing, and I did a little picture of all the ones that I want to take into next year, but not necessarily stitch on all of them next year. So that's really what I'm focusing on. It's just using that as like a reference guide of what I've got currently active. So the other one I worked on in December is obviously, well, not obviously, but maybe a bit obviously, is the battle, because the chart we were waiting for on the 1st of January came rolling in. I think it was on the 27th. Well, I think we had like 2 or 3 days head start on it, and everybody just went nuts and started stitching as they do. And of course I had to bring mine out, and here is where I'm at the moment. So I've got just over 2,000 stitches on this, and I think it's looking lovely. I love all the pinks that are coming out there. Obviously it's a little bit dull to not have, you know, the ship coming yet, but hey, I'm not in a hurry, not in a hurry at all. And as for focus piece, I've been umming and ahhing about this one, and again, I'm just going to leave it to how I'm feeling about it as I go. So I have been working on this every day since the chart came out, and I've been doing at least a couple, 200-300 stitches which is great because it's a good start. If you can see that line here, that's where the page ends. So it's somewhere down here is a page. So I'm one block away from getting to the one page, which I think is good. Because we've only had this chart, like 4 days or something. So yeah. But I don't want to just focus on this and try to get a finish and all the rest and not work on anything else, because then that's just going to be pointless for me. I'm going to feel like this has come tumbling in and taken over all my other projects. So it is going to be worked on. Whether I'm going to do more than a page or more than 2 pages or anything like that, I don't know. I'm just going to go with the flow, as they say, and we'll just see what happens. So that's Battle, which is the Haid Sal 2026. And some people have already done like 5,000 stitches. I don't know. They must not eat or sleep. I don't know how they do it. Because I've put a fair bit of time into this, considering the time of year it is. So I was thinking, my goodness, how do people get that much done? I don't know. They must just sit up till like 5 o'clock in the morning, that sort of thing. Okay, so I'm just going to tick off here which ones I've talked about, because I'll forget. So those 2 I'm going to be working on definitely this month. Let's just talk about this month. When I come back at the end of January, we could talk about February. Okay, so apart from that, I think for the time being, I'm just going to leave Riverwalk Charm in its little tucked away place so that I can maybe get something else out that I haven't touched for a while. Oh yeah, so I'll do this one first and then I'll talk about one of my kits. So this is Castle by Eda Jose Rosa, I think is the name. I forget sometimes. And it's a Stitches So Beautiful chart. And I worked on this one and I managed to get a little mountain coming through. Can you see that there? How gorgeous is that? So I did put a fair amount of work into this. So I got at least 2,000 stitches on this piece since I last showed you. So mostly what's new is all this bit here. I worked down. And this is, sorry if I'm not saying, this is 10th stitch on 25 count. So is Battle and so is Sad Fairy. So now I'm most of my works are 25 count and most of it is 2 over 1 10th stitch. And I'm really pleased with that one. So am I bringing that one into 2026? Yes, but am I going to work on it in January? I don't know yet. I haven't decided. At the moment, I've only decided on Sad Fairy and Battle, and I haven't picked out anything else yet to work on in January, except for one, which I'm going to show you right now, which is a kit, and it's called Westminster. I can put the picture up. I think I am putting pictures up, or I will put pictures up. And this one got some work in December. Because it's a kit and it comes with a paper chart, I cannot tell you how many stitches I did, but I've done a fair bit of work on this, and which you will see now. And here is where I'm at. And I think it's looking gorgeous. So I've worked more on the sky, sort of framed it a little bit. Come down here, I don't know what that is. I think it's like a little lantern. Just gonna hold it up for a moment. I can't see anything. Let's get it here. There we go. Look at that. Just look at that clock. Isn't it gorgeous? So I did quite a bit of the sky here. I finished the clock at the top. There's no back stitching, and this is the end of my page here. Then the next page goes on that side. So it's working out quite nice. So this one, I decided I'm going to do some more work on it in January because I just think it's lovely. And I'm not keen on paper charts any longer. They really aren't floating my boat. So I'm going to talk a bit more about that in a second. But yeah, so that's Westminster. The kit is called Anchor Maya, Maia, something like that. And I really love it. I think that's 16 count Ada that I've been working on. And since I did the grid, I was so much happier to just, fly across here. Before I had the grid, I was kind of scared coming along here because it was like, oh my God, if I've miscounted. Then I thought, you know what, why am I struggling? Just get your friction pen out and just do the grid. It didn't even take that long. So as long as the grid's fine, everything here is fine. So that's number 3. So that will get a bit of work in January. So I'm going to tick it here on my list. If I can find it. There it is. Okay. Then I ran into a problem. Now, this chart I started, I want to say 2022, something like 2023, more likely 2022, because I think it was pre-moving into this house that I started it. And really enjoyed it as I was going. And for some reason, I've hit a difficult spot with it. I'm going to explain. So I've been fine with doing this one and the chart until I got to recently where I attempted to do one of the pages, which is the top right of the chart. And if anybody's done this chart, I know some of you have. I know Sophia from Stitching Love has done this chart. And if you're watching, Sophia, please tell me what you think of that page, because it has been a nightmare for me to try and do. And I know you finished it. And by the way, I'll put Sophia's link down below so you can go and visit her channel. So here is Gracious Era by Alan Maley, Dimensions. And yes, it's a lovely chart. Lovely result. No problems doing all this section with the people and the carriage. And then I got to this part here and tried to go along this side of the pattern, and oh my goodness, no, because the chart has got little triangles in green and in blue, and to my eyes they look exactly the same, and there's just hundreds of them, and I'm thinking, why on earth do you have to do 2 triangles? Why can't you do a blue triangle and a green circle, or I don't know, something else, some other kind of symbol? But no, triangles everywhere in green and blue, very, very similar green and blue. And I obviously can't show you the chart, but it got to the point where I sat there and spent 5 hours getting increasingly frustrated with this, because I don't have markup RXP. I don't really want to buy it just to do something like this. I'm very happy with my pattern keeper, and so I tried to print it out in a bigger format and I couldn't do it. Tried to scan it, into my thing and print it out, and didn't come out right. It was all bad printing. I just couldn't do it. I sat there and then I tried to go, instead of doing cross country, I tried to do, like stitch after stitch, literally. And then I was like, is that a blue one? Is that a green one? And it's like, oh my goodness. I was just so not enjoying it. I got so frustrated. I just threw it across the room. I said to my husband, I can't do it. So here is where we're at. I've emailed Dimensions and given them the code and proof of purchase, and just fingers crossed they might send me a PDF. If they don't send me a PDF, I am trying to bribe my husband to do those triangles. Now, he is not a cross stitcher. He's a gaming man, right? But there's no harm trying. So when he's in a good mood, I will make him a nice cup of tea and a slice of cake. I might even bake him a cake, which for me is a big thing, because I don't really bake. And and other little bribes that I could perhaps think of that I can get him to do the triangles. I don't have any stitching friends here, really, that will do it. So, and it would be rude to expect them to. So, for the moment, this one is going into the let's leave it here for now pile until a future date when I get that page sorted out. So he said actually that he will do a bit of it, but not going to happen in over Christmas and New Year, because I think he'd rather do more things that he enjoys, like gaming with my son and stuff like that, rather than sitting in a corner. My son playing games on his computer. My husband doesn't want to sit there doing my stitching, really. So that's kind of where we're at. But anyway, I remain hopeful that I will get round that page, even if I have to mess it all up with, like, if I make a few mistakes. But it was just so frustrating, and I was getting all worked up, and I was like, ugh. You know how that feels when it's just not working out for you. And I don't want to strain my eyes, because my eyes are really sensitive. I suffer with allergies, and if I strain my eyes, they start weeping, and then they get puffy, and then my sinuses start going, and it's just awful. So I don't want to do that either. I mean, it's something to be enjoyed, right? And if it starts to get to a point where it's more frustrating than it is pleasant, sometimes it's better just to put it away for a while and just let things lie. And I'll think about it again somewhere down the line. So that's why I did a big red X on that, because I was getting really angry with it. It's like, you are not happening. So there we are. There's me with my honesty, letting you know how that one's going. So this is not a whip parade, obviously, so I'm not going to show you all of my whips. But what else do I have in my little book? If there was anything else I want to talk about. So those are the 3 that I worked on. Yeah, those are 3 that I worked on. Now, I have thought about, obviously, if I'm trying to get Sad Fairy to finish this year, that means putting some away. But what I do want to bring out in October for sure is this one, which is Moon Witch. And that is one that I started last year. Yeah, I got it right, last year. And it's an Artisy freebie. So if you like it, they might still have it in their group. You have to join their group to get it. I only got about 2,000 stitches into that one, I think. So, but I do want to do that one only in October. Somebody mentioned that they like doing seasonal stitching, and I had to think about it. But I don't see a lot of seasonal stuff in my okay, that one down here might be good for autumn, and summery ones I don't really see. Maybe the one with the flowers. That's just a really tiny Bothy Threads kit that I'm not really particularly bothered with. Might come out, might not. It looks like my camera's flickering or something. I am sorry about that. It's probably being sensitive today. Yeah, so I don't see a lot of like real season. There's no like real winter charts here, is there? Maybe that one down there, but that's another paper kit, and I'm not happy with paper at the moment as it is. So don't bring me paper right now. Actually, this one that I showed you, I'm getting all right with that paper chart. It seems to be a nice. Symbols on it seem to be nice and clear. Oh, and I've also got this one to be getting on with, but that paper chart is a bit of a nightmare to read. That's London by Thea Governor. Not happening this month, not happening. So I also wanted to say there is one that I so want to do this one. This is a Letty stitch, and it's called Sunrise by the Sea, and I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. But I want to do it when I've got a bit more time and focus, because I don't like starting something and putting in 300 stitches and then just putting it away, because then it just feels like it's sitting there waiting for me. I don't like that kind of thing. So I'm gonna have to hold out until there's a better day for that one, but I really do. And I was crazy enough to see that there was a sale on by Heaven and Earth Designs. I can't even believe that I'm thinking that I would even go in and entertain the idea. But I did, and I purchased 2 charts. And if I'm not mistaken by who they're from, they're by Ciro Marchetti. I've never had a chart from him yet, so I knew one day I would, and I'd have to try and get his name around my tongue. So I think most people are calling him Ciro Marchetti. I think that's correct. If not, apologise. And the first one I got was Gargoyle Cat. Now, I don't do max colour because it drives me absolutely crazy. And so I got just the like normal sized one, and I love it. I put it up on the screen. I love that window. Like, again, I think the contrast again always gets me every time. And so it's just there. I've got it. I know I've got it. I don't have any pressure to start it. I'm thinking that if I can get Sad Fairy to about 90%, I may start that one as a reward for finishing her. I think that's fair enough. And the second one I purchased was called Wheel of Fortune. I think it's by the same artist. And I think the two this one speaks to me because, yeah, it's been a testing year, and I feel like life really is a wheel of fortune. It can go up and it can go down. It kind of reminds me where I am, at the moment, sort of somewhere in the middle. Could go this way, could go that way. Hopefully things go up for everybody. Lots of people have said they've had a difficult year. But as far as my projects are concerned, I think that's everything. I'm just going to check in my folder if there's anything in here that I wanted to talk about. So just for those who like stats, I did write out something during the week, and I managed to figure out how many stitches I've got left on my projects. And my biggest project now is not Riverwalk Charm, because I've done so many stitches on it. It's come right down. So the one with the highest stitches amount to do now is actually Fairy Whispers by Lisa Parker. That one now has got 178k stitches left for me to do. And the one with the least amount of stitches for me to do is Perfect Wisdom, which is 36k. And I'm not feeling this one at the moment. I worked on it, but I only put in like 50 stitches, so it's not even worth bothering to show 50 stitches. But yeah, that one could definitely get finished very soon, but it's not going to. So I'll wait until it does, or I'll try and give it a little whirl every week to keep it moving anyway, even if I don't seem to be. I think it's because it's so crazy confetti that it takes me a couple of hours just to do 100 stitches. It's like, and because it's so compact with so many colours, I can't do cross country because I'm still changing threads every couple of stitches anyway, so it doesn't make it particularly go faster. In fact, it makes it go more bulky because I'm crisscrossing hundreds of times. So it's a bit of a slog, that one, I have to admit. And Sad Fairy has 56,000 left, so she really has come to a point of, she's got a lot less than Hate Sal, actually. I could just get her finished. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So expect fewer whips from me showing off next month or at the end of the month, but expect more progress, which I think is fair enough. I mean, everybody should be allowed to decide whether they want to get more progress on 1 or 2 or 3 or more, or whether they want to just, rotate lots of them. I think everyone's got their own individual, everyone should have the right to decide for themselves if that's what they want to do. If they want to just work on 1 or 2 or 10 or 20 or 50, it really is personal preference, and I'm just going by what I think will make me feel more accomplished. I feel like if I get Sad Fairy finished or closer to a finish, I'll feel more accomplished, and she's getting there. But it does mean putting others aside for a while, which is really irritating now because I want to work on all of them, obviously, but I'm going to have to learn the art of patience and maybe just stick it out for a little bit, and it might be better in the long run, because then when Sad Fairy is out of the picture, I'll feel at least accomplished about something. Yeah, that's how I'm just feeling it at the moment. So really, I think that's everything. So I hope everybody enjoys January stitching and whatever it is you want to achieve. And of course, I'll be back again when I can to update you, or try to do a stitch with me in January for you. So let me know which one is your favorite, which one you would like to see more. That's interesting. Which one would you like to see more stitches on in my projects of the ones that I'm doing? I think I might pull in a fourth one because 3 seems a little bit few to me. It seems like too few. So if I pull in another one, I might just make it whichever one I want rather than it has to be a certain one. So that's it, guys. Thanks ever so much for watching. I hope you have a pleasant weekend and enjoy your stitching, whatever you do. Take care, God bless, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye for now.